Twitter. All right, everyone, this is Zahid Bashir. Today I am going to discuss the NVIVO process, NVIVO 14 process for cases, the file cases, and you can say the file classification and the case classification here. It is a very detailed session and it will give you a lot of learning points here. And I would be hoping that NVIVO software is installed. So I need to start the session on NVIVO. So let me discuss this you while the software is open. What are the cases and how we can deal with cases in NVIVO? So in NVIVO, cases represent the unit of analysis. So when we are discussing the cases with NVIVO, it means unit of analysis. And unit of analysis means the people you have interviewed or the continuous communities you have studied. Your project might have access cases for people, places, organization, events, or anything else. So always remember that cases are the things from where you have got your data, whether you have collected data from people, from places, from organization, or you have collected some data regarding some events or entities that are known as cases. So always remember that you need to consider the cases as a demographic or bibliographic part of your study. So you need to analyze the cases just like the containers. So the NVIVO has started. So our recent project is my first project. So I need to open this file. While the file is open, let me discuss further in detail about the cases. Cases are like containers that hold all the information related to person, place, or other unit of analysis. So you can open a case to see all the information that has been coded there. So for example, you could review everything that Mary said or everything about Harker's Island. So it is just like a container regarding a particular person or particular event or particular file. So when you begin a project, it is a good idea to decide on your unit of analysis and plan for the cases you will need to represent them. So cases can have attributes such as age, gender, experience, or location. This is similar to demographic variables that you have studied with SPSS analysis whenever you need to analyze the demographic features. They are called attributes, but in NVIVO, they are called the cases. So age is a case, gender is a case, experience is a case. So these are the attributes that are provided with cases. For example, you might make a case for participant called Ali. Ali is a participant, and you want to create a case for him, like his age, like his group, like his gender, like his educational level. Then you would code all of these details to Ali's content at this case. So the reasons of creating cases, why we create cases, what is the particular reason with it? So not all projects require cases. Always remember that you don't need to create cases with all type of projects. Whether you need to set up cases depends upon your research question and methodology. If your research question, your methodology requires that you need to provide specific demographic or bibliographic detail about the cases, then you need to provide it. Otherwise, you don't need to create cases. So if you want to make comparison based on attributes of people, places, organizations, or other unit of analysis, then cases provide a useful way to do this. So, but if your project does not require these type of comparison, then there is no need to create cases. For example, you may not need cases if you are doing a literature review or conducting in-depth interview with only a few stakeholders. So always remember that cases are not always required. It is required when your research questions or your methodology require it by default. So what are the types of cases and how we can create cases with NVIVO? So Classification provides a way to record descriptive information about the files and cases on your project. So you can use this information to make comparison together material by attribute. So there are two types of classification. If you see here, you can have file classification. I need to delete it for your understanding. You may have file classification, and you may have the case classification. So there are two types of classification here: file classification and case classification. So you need to understand what are these and how they basically help in our data analysis procedure. So file classification and case classification. So first you need to understand the file classification. I will let you know the procedure of creating the file classification. Then I will let you know the procedure of case classification. So file classification are for storing bibliographic information about your file. So whenever you need to provide the bibliographic information, like date, like the location. For example, I have interviewed data for my study from different locations. Like if I consider, there are three major cities in Pakistan, like Lahore, Karachi, and Islamabad. These are the three major financial hubs in Pakistan. So I have interviewed some of the people from Lahore, some of the people from Karachi, some of the people from Islamabad. So I need to allocate the location of every participant, that which participant is basically interviewed in Lahore, which participant is interviewed in Islamabad, which participant is interviewed in Karachi. So I need to point out the location, and I need to allocate that particular location with each of my participants. So this is called the file classification. So when you need to add the bibliographic information like date, you can also mention the date on which the interview was conducted with that particular person. You can also provide the location. You can also provide the name of the interviewer and interview. So these type of information, whenever you need these information, these are basically considered with file classification. So the second thing that you need to understand with classification is the case classification. Case classification provides you demographic detail like age, like gender, like education. Uh, you always remember that whenever you see a research paper, there is always a section relating to demographic detail. So when you are going to use the NVIVO software, you always need to provide the demographic detail like gender, age, occupation, marital status, etc. These types of information would be provided using case classification. And if you need to provide the location of the interview, the date, the name of the interviewee, and the name of the interviewer, uh, then you need to consider the file classification. So this is the particular difference between file classification and case classification. Now, how to create the file classification? So there is a procedure, there is a detailed procedure that you need to understand for creating files. So the first thing, for creating the file classification, you simply click on file classification from the navigation area. It will show you a blank area for classification listing. So we go to the folder. Or all right, for the short interruption, I am going to connect it again. So I was discussing that you need to click on the file classification in order to create the file classification of your data. You simply, when you first time click on it, it will show you some basic detail, what is file classification. You just need to close it and you will see a blank sheet like this: name, created on, created by, modified on, modified by. So this is basically the area that is being shown in this file. So what you need to do? The next thing that you need to do is to create your file classification. Now, suppose I want to create a file classification on the basis of location. Always remember that file classification is done either of these four purposes that I have shown you. Either you need to show the interviewer name, the interviewee name, the date, and the location. So I am considering that I am creating the file classification on the basis of location, that what are the location of each interview. As I have mentioned that in Pakistan, I have conducted interview in three cities, Lahore, Karachi, and Islamabad. So I need to create file classification on the basis of location. So location of interview conducted. As I have done some interview in Lahore, some in Islamabad, and some in Karachi. Therefore, it is feasible to execute location as the file classification. For doing this, at first I need to tell the NVIVO that I want to conduct file classification for my interview files. So this is the first thing that you need to tell to NVIVO, because there are different types of files available: field notes, focus group discussion, interviews, and pictures. So you need to tell the NVIVO whether you are going to create location for file creation for field notes, focus group discussion, interview, and pictures. So I am going to tell the NVIVO that I want to create the file classification on the basis of location for interviews conducted at different locations. So what I need to do, therefore the file classification will be interview. So how to create the file classification for interview? Now right click on the blank area of classification files and click on new classification from drop down menu. So what I need to do, I go here, this is the blank area under file classification. Because the file classification is click here, this is the blank area, you just need to right click and you click on new classification. So when you write here the new classification, you just need to tell the NVIVO for what purpose you want to create the new classification. Now write the interview, because I want to conduct the location for the interview. I need to write here interview. So I write here in the name box interview and click on OK. Now it will show me the interview. What I do next, the next thing that you need to understand here, you can verify the creation of interview as the classification in navigation area as well as file listing area. So if you want to verify it, you can see here the file classification and in the subheading interview. It means interviews has been created under file classification. So what is the next thing that we need to do? Now click on the interview from navigation area under file classification and you will see blank interview area. There is no participant or file appearing here. So if we click on the interview, we will see the interview with blank area, because the participants are not basically located here. So what we need to do, we need to consider the next thing. To make the participant appear in the interview file classification, do the following. Click on the interviews from the navigation area under file option and select files. So what we need to do, we go to the file and under files, we select this interview area. So these are the interview participants that I need to show in this file classification interview area. Because if we click on the file classification interview area, there is no one here. But if we click under files, interview area, there are 7 participants here. So what I need to do, I need to open the participants like this. And now right click on the selected file and select classification and then interview from the drop down menu. So what I need to do, classification and classification. All right. So I basically select all of them. Here it is on. I don't need to open it. I just need to select them one by one because all need to be selected. I want to make them appear in interview area under file classification. So what I need to do, right click on it, go to the classification, and here no classification and there is interview. So click on it and it will be transferred into here. Now, if you open it, you will see under file classification, the interview contains the 7 participants. So this is how you can put your participant into the file classification interview area. So after doing it, you will see that interview are written under classification of each file. Now, what we need to do next, you can also verify it by clicking on the location under file classification in navigation area. We have located it. Now, I want to assign each participant interview file to their respective location because I have not so far assigned any location to any participant. For doing it, you need to select any one file from R1 to onward, and right click on it and select new attribute from the drop down menu. So what I need to do, when you open the interview area under file classification, you can select any one of them. So for example, I select R1. I just need to right click on it, and from here I need to find out attribute, new attribute. This is the basic thing that you need to find out from here, because location is an attribute. So simply click on it and write here location, because I am assigning location as a attribute for R1. And after writing it, go to the values and click on add and write the name of the location that you want to assign. For example, I want to assign Lahore. I want to assign Karachi. I want to assign Islamabad. So these are the three locations where I have conducted my interview. So I click on OK, and it is assigned. Now, what I need to do here, a new attribute, we have written location here. We have added the locations with the name like this. And now you can verify the creation of location by expanding each file. So you can verify whether the location has created. Yes, it is created with each one. Although you have used only R1, but location is created with each of the files here. So you simply need to minimize it because it is created. Now I need to assign from which location R1 is located, R2 located, R3 located, R4 located, and so on. So what is the procedure? We need to see here. Now go to interviews under file in navigation area. Select R1, right click and select document properties from the drop down menu. Now, if you see here, some of these files are video files and some of these files are document files. So if there is a video file, you need to see the video properties. If there is a document file, you need to see the document properties. For example, R4 is a document file. So I right click on it, and here you will see document properties. You just need to click on it and you will see a box like this. You go to the attribute value and you click on this sign. This is the sign you need to click on it. Now you need to tell the software that R4 is basically interviewed at which location. For example, I remember that R4 is interviewed at Karachi. So I simply select Karachi and click OK. Now this was the document file. If I select the video file, I need to right click on it, and uh, you will see video properties here rather than document properties. If the file is video, you will see the video properties. If the file is document, you will see the document properties. And if the file is audio, you will see the audio properties. So you just need to click on it. You will go to the attribute value, and you will select the location where this interview was conducted. For example, this interview was conducted in Lahore. So you just need to click on it. And if you see R7 is the audio file, I need to click on it, and you will see audio properties here. So you click on it, you go to attribute values, you select a location for this file for the interview, and click on it. Now, this is just one way to assign the location. There is another way, I will let you know. First, you need to see this procedure that I have assigned you so far. I have told you so far. So same procedure need to be applied with all of your participants. For example, R2. And you remember that I have basically intentionally left some of the participants without assigning any location, because I want to tell you another way for assigning location. So through that procedure, I will let you know how to assign location in the other way. So just let me tell you the other procedure. There is another method of assigning attribute location to your participant using file classification ribbon from the ribbon bar. So if you see here the file classification ribbon, this is the ribbon bar, and you can see here under the home button. Under the home button, there is a file classification uh, ribbon bar here. You just need to click on it, and you need to select interview, and you will see here there are some locations which are unassigned. I need to show you again. You need to go to the home button, then you need to select file classification, and under file classification you need to select the interview, because I am creating file classification for the interview. So you just need to click on it, and you can see there are some unassigned locations here. So you can directly assign locations from here if you have created the location attribute. So you just need to click on it. For example, this is located to Lahore. This is also located to Lahore. This is located to Karachi. This is located to Islamabad. So this is how you can directly assign the location with each of your participants. That these are the participants which are interviewed at these different locations. There are 3 participants who were interviewed at Lahore. There were 2 participants who were interviewed in Karachi. There are 2 participants who were interviewed in Islamabad. So this is how you can create the case classification, sorry, file classification. I will let you know some other things here, because we have considered so far the file classification procedure. Now, I will show you some other procedure. I have elaborated this, how can you directly allocate the locations using this procedure. I will let you know the case classification, how to create the demographic variables or attributes using case classification method, because it is one of the most important consideration for NVIVO in order to create your case classification. As I have already told you that case classification is relevant to demographic detail like gender, age, the any type of experience, any type of marital status, qualification, etc. So whenever you need to classify the demographic detail, you are basically relevant to case classification. So now let's suppose that you have following participant. You have following participant. What has happened? All right. So now let's suppose that you have the following participant for which you are going to create case classification. These are the participants according to my file. If I go here, these are the participation for which there was an interruption. There was a short interruption of internet because today is a rainy day at my area. So network is interrupting again and again. So the first step for creating the case classification is to click on any participant, then press Control plus A. It will select all the participant or interview. So what I need to do, I go to the interview under files and click on any participant and then click Control plus A. It will select all the participants. So this is the step one. After doing the step one, what I need to do, the second step is right click on the all selected participant. A drop down menu will appear. From here, you need to select classification and then new classification, new case classification from the next drop down menu. So this is the selected participant area. I need to right click here and I go to the classification, and from here I need to consider new case classification rather than new file classification. You need to create new case classification. So just click on it and you need to write here what kind of classification you want to do. From here, what we need to do, you need to write here demographics as the name of your case classification and then click OK. So I just need to write here demo graphics and click OK. After doing this, what I need to do, I just go to the file and I will see what is the next procedure. Step 4, verify your demographics case classification has been created by clicking on case classification in the navigation area. So you need to verify it whether your case classification has been considered here. So you go to cases. Here, case classification, there is a sign of some arrow. You need to click on it and you will see that demographic has been created here as a part of case classification. So you can click on it. If you click on it, it has considered all the participants from R1 to R7 here. So what we need to do next? We have verified that the case classification for it has been created. So what we need to do now, click on the demographic from here and then click on new attributes on the drop down menu. So what we need to do, we just need to click on it, case classification without opening the demographic. We need to click on case classification and we need to right click on demographic. So from here, we need to select new attribute. That is the same procedure we have done with file classification. You need to create a new attribute. So what we need to do here, uh, after new attribute, a new window will appear, write gender as your first attribute, naming your journal tab. So in journal tab, we will enter gender like this. Now click on values tab on the same window of new attribute. Now click on add and write male and then click on add and write female. Now click OK. So what we need to do, we need to write, I need to show you again. Go to demographic, new attribute. In the journal tab, you need to write here gender. Then click on values and click on add, write here male. And then again click add, write here female and click on OK. Now the gender variable has been created, and if you want to verify whether it has been created with all the demographics, you can expand it. You can see the gender attribute has been created with all of your participants. So what we need to do next, After creating this, the next attribute can be shown by following the similar process. If you want to create another attribute, for example, you go to here, uh, again click on demographic, new attribute. For example, after gender, I would like to add here, for example, the qualification as the attribute, qualification. Uh, Rather putting here the qualification, you can consider marital status. Marital status. You can also consider the age or any other. So for me, marital status is very easy. Add here, for example, single or engaged. Add here married. Add here divorce and click on OK. You can also create, for example, I want to create here the, the age. Go to the values. Add uh, less than 18 years. Add 18 to 25 years. 26 to 30 years. 31 to 40 years. And greater than 40 years. All right. You can also create here qualification. You right click on it, new attribute, qualification, values. Add here, for example, undergraduate, graduates. For example, this is the case with qualification. Now, these are the kinds of attribute or kinds of demographic variables we have created here. So it is very simple for us for considering the case classification here. So what we need to do here, what we need to create here furthermore. So a new window will appear. I have considered here investment experience and so on. So now click on values tab. On the same window of new and you click on add. All right. This is the same procedure for another variable. Assigning the attribute to your data. Click on case classification from ribbon bar and click on demographic from the drop down menu. So go to the home, go to the case classification like we have done in file classification. We are now going to done with case classification. And from here, you need to click on demographic. Now, this is the way how you can assign them the different values. For example, let's suppose the first participant of this study is basically the male. The second participant of this study is also male. The third participant is female. The fourth participant is male. The fifth participant is female. The seventh one is also female. Uh, the last one is male. And in the same way, you can consider the marital status. It is single. It is single. It is married. It is also married. It is also married. This one is divorced and this one is single. This one is single. And in the same way, you can assign the age as you have interviewed the different participants. So you have recorded their age. So for example, this person is 26 to 30 years. This person is 31 to 40 years. This person is 26 to 30 years. This person is 31 to 40 years. This person is greater than 40 years. This person is also greater than 40 years, and this person is 18 to 25. And qualification. Most of them are undergraduate. Only a particular person is graduate. For example, this one is a graduate, while the remaining are undergraduates for my study. So this is how you can consider the case classification. So this is the procedure that I want to tell you. Now you can assign the gender, and from here we have already done this one. After assigning the actual value, it will look like this. Like this, we have created. Now, what is the next? Next is the visualization. If you want to visualize whatever you have done with classification or with case classification, whatever you have done, you can go to explore. There are a lot of charts. If you see here, there is an option of charts. So you go here, you go to the charts. We have three types of data. We have codes, we have files, we have cases. So for example, I need to create the chart wizard for files. So click on files, files by attribute value for an attribute. Yes, I have created only one attribute. So I will see next attribute name. You can select from here. It will show you the interview on terms of location. Click on OK and click on finish. Now it will show you some data like this for your interview location. If you see here, if you see this file, this is the number of matching items, and it will show you the data that you have conducted interview. Majority of the interviews are from Lahore. There are three interviewees. There are three persons from where you have located from Lahore, two are from Karachi and two are from Islamabad. And if you see, there are two values which are appearing here by default, like unassigned and not applicable. You can simply remove them, and there is a procedure of removing them. For example,